In other news, before we jump into Metal Gear, obviously you guys, I'm sure you all saw the VShojo released a statement. Well, I suppose Gun did. And that, wow. Yikes. Aware, clean your room. One thing I did want to, I think is important to note, is that I see a lot of people who are still pressuring people to like be like, look, the NDAs, the NDAs don't exist anymore. You can talk about it. And it's like, so I literally was talking, when I was talking to a lawyer before this all, I was asking him, I was like, I don't think they have money to sue. So like, surely the NDA is like unactionable. And he was like, well, fun fact about the NDA, no. You can, when the company goes into bankruptcy, I could be wrong in a little bit of the details about this. The NDA can, like, whoever the debtors are, whoever claims it, can action on the NDA to get more money. So, people who are like, I can say what I want. It's like, yeah, you can probably say it. It probably might be fine. But, and I was like, but then why would they, and I was wondering, I was like, but surely there's no motive to want to follow up on the NDAs, like a random third party. And then, you know, I guess it doesn't, you know, if you're like a big investor with a fuck ton of money, maybe blowing 500K on a lawsuit to maybe get your money back is not a big deal. That's not saying you shouldn't say anything. I'm just saying I didn't like people who were like, everyone can say what they want now. They went off. I mean, look, it could also be different, you know. Like, I'm not, I think more power to VA for doing that. But I felt bad. I was like, I don't want other people to think that everyone should just start saying everything. I'm like, because even the attorney I normally use, he was like, yeah, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. I'd want you to talk to a bankruptcy lawyer and then a defamation lawyer. I was like, oh, that sounds expensive. Not that I'm even involved or anything. I was just checking because I wanted to ask. Because you know, obviously I want to support all my friends and the people who are affected by it. And I don't want them to be doing things that could land them in more trouble. Because ideally the best case scenario is that this shit all is over and done with and people can move on with their lives and hopefully people can get the money back and the charity, although not holding out any breath for that one. And like on like a personal note, when we talked about it last time, I didn't want to like talk about Gun because I wanted to, you know, make sure people were focused on, you know, the VShojo aspect of it. I think that's like the worst part of all of this in terms of like the trust broken, because that tweet is so bad. If you guys haven't seen, he released a statement. It's like just admitting to it is crazy. I feel like for sure a lawyer would have tried to talk you out of that. To admit that is crazy. I mean, that's a crime, you know. Like a personal perspective, it was really, I don't think any like, you know, me, Mouse, or anyone else like thought that he was capable of doing or like doing something like that, because we just, everyone trusted him. He was a really nice guy. And like, you know, every time we'd film together or we'd work together, you know, and we'd hang out after shoots and stuff and we'd always talk, and it was like, I never once, I met so many scummy people in this business. There's so many people in this line of work that like will throw you to the side for like a 1% increase on their like clout or monetary value. And that was just never the impression I got. So it was really like heartbreaking to see him kind of, you know, it's awful, man. It sucks. It is a shame. The CEO did, I think like from my perspective, like, cause I'm not really involved in any of this. I've just been helping Mouse deal with it. And I know I've had to work with them a lot, or Mouse. I don't, you know, whatever else is going on, I think like that is up for everyone else to figure out. Like, I'm not trying to insert myself and be the arbiter of this. It's not. Just the like personal betrayal is pretty fucked up. It's not surprising that a company that was run badly is now, you know, had all these things come out, people at accusations. Still, I still think there's a lot of people who, I think because, you know, when these situations come out, there's a lot of people who are just putting out absolute slop and being like, I know the inside scoop. And it's like, dude, only the talents really know what went on, you know? Like, it's so frustrating seeing it all, everyone trying to make it about themselves. It's like, dude, just like, let people just like grieve and let people figure out what steps are next, but everyone wants to make it about themselves. What a sad situation. And you know, I still think probably take some time before I think everyone, you know, we all get to see the full picture of what happened, you know. And I know that's a boring thing to say, and I know all the comments are like sharks in the water, they're out for blood, they want to know what happened. But it's like one of those things where like it just takes time for it all to come out and for the story to truly be like told and all aligned, because there's just so much coming out right now. And it's hard to like piece it all together and hard to know what's, you know, even stuff that I've seen that people have said. I've seen some things where I'm like, it's like it's like a very stretching of but you know, it is what it is. People are taking this moment where like, because there is like this one entity that is so evil, Everyone's gonna try and be like say as much as they can to be like, they'll be like, guys, look at me though. And I think it's important as well. Like one thing that I've always like genuinely believed in when situations like this happen, where, you know, there's a lot of eyes on everyone who's involved in this. People who are watching and like the number goes up because people are interested in what you have to say, obviously. But it's important not to get lost in that. Like, your self-worth is not like that number and these views. And ultimately, this is a job where you still have to like go on stream and, you know, just be a streamer and entertain people outside of this. So it's important not to like try to like make this everything. Don't let this be your thing. Because I also think it's like it'd be a disservice to like anyone who's involved who's like, this is like, oh, that person, oh yeah, I know that person from that scandal, you know? Like, you just want to be a creator, like create cool shit. Don't let this be a thing. But like, I am glad that a lot of people are able to feel comfortable about saying how they were wronged. I think that's good though, overall. And obviously feel bad for the new recruits. It's all just a shitty situation. It's all just a mess. It's such a shit show, and it's a betrayal of trust, you know. And honestly, I'm sure if anyone's experienced this in their life, having your trust betrayed just stings in a certain flavor that something like, I don't know. And like the money is obviously an extension of that, like stealing money or not stealing, but not paying money or whatever it is like an extension of that. And that just having that trust betrayed is always the killer, you know. That's what hurts the most. At the end of the day, Martin plays online, 5,000 bits, but at the end of the day, you and Mouse and every other talents who are involved in that fortunate mess are still awesome and real ones. Keep reminding yourselves that you are all the amazing ones. Yeah, no. I mean, I'm not involved in this. Like, I don't, like, I'm just trying to help my friend. And ultimately, I think it sucks for, like, the state of, like, the industry. Like, I think it's good to have more professional organizations around that help talent and enable them. And I think it does suck to see, because I hate that, like, I don't know, I don't like that sometimes that people all have to fend for themselves. It is generally good for the industry to have bigger players who are able to move things forward and try new innovative stuff that individuals can't on their own. Especially because the you know, live streaming is getting so big and VTubing is so big. Like, it's gotten crazy. And I think that it generally is good when there are companies operating ethically and morally in the space. And it's so mainstream now. Like, and I think, like, where I think there was a lot of chance for a lot of shakeup, like a lot of new agencies to come in and perhaps change the business. Because I'm not exactly fond of, like, the old style Hollywood agency model at times. There's a lot of aspects to it that I'm not fond of. So I think it was, you know, but I think streaming now has kind of been absorbed into that, which makes sense. But that's just me ranting and rambling about my thoughts. I say nothing. That's pretty much it. But just thoughts on everything that kind of went down. And, like, look, I hope we get the full story someday. I hope it all comes out. I think right now it's just like, I think people are just looking for, like, serotonin boosts to be like, yeah, they suck. Give me more. And it's like, all right. It would be very helpful if we could all kind of piece this together as what went wrong. A lighter, more consultation method. Well, this, like, I've always, like, if creators ever want to ask me questions or, like, hit me up, because I hate when I feel so bad when I see a new creator who's absolutely crushing it and they're just falling into pit holes that could have been avoided if someone had, like, just spoke to them and been like, hey, you might want to do this instead. So, you know, it's unfortunate. And that was kind of what was supposed to be the role of something like, you know, a VShojo, to kind of help talent who are newer kind of navigate some things. But it turned out no one in that company had any clue what they were doing. So, you know, great. If it keeps up at this pace, then the full story's out by Sunday. Well, yeah, but, like, what even is what does a full story even look like, you know? Like, I don't know. Like, it's so easy to be like, we've got everything, we can piece it together. But I'm like, that's like a naive way of thinking of how all the information has come out. And I really feel like there's so much more to this. We've got a lot of what's happened, but, like, me personally, I'm so much more interested what the fuck is going on internally. Not with, like, talent, but, like, management. Like, I'd love to know what the hell was going on day by day. Like, that's where I'm curious about, because I feel like that's where the story is. The timeline for the story will probably be many years long. Yeah, absolutely. I want what we roast the shit out of me.
Current events. Tech bro makes a company thinking he can do it better than current ones. Company is run poorly but gets 11 million venture capital so it can actually run for a few years. Fails. Not the first or the 100th one.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, look, I think they're like, because people are like reveling in this. I'm not crying. Oh, Mouse. I don't know. And like, I guess that's like the part that's like, I don't know how to word this, right? Because like, it feels wrong when people are like getting like super happy about like watching it all burn. So like people really like people put a lot of care and love into like this, like, you know, like Mouse and stuff. And so it feels like I get people happy that it's all been out and all the bad deeds and stuff. But like, I don't know. It doesn't rub me the right way. People are like, yeah, fucking, yeah, let's destroy it. Yeah, it's like, man, people's lives are ruined, man. Like it feels wrong. But you know, that's the internet, and me expecting the internet to be thoughtful. Maybe I'm that's naive of me. I think the care should be on the talent and not watching, you know, the company be destroyed, which I mean, absolutely should have. But yeah, I mean, the tech bro story, I think, you know, that's hopefully we'll get to tell the story someday. Hopefully the whole thing will be told and whatnot at some point.